So, to be real, I started a Fallen Order with full expectations to not like it, and it was proving me right for a little bit at the start with the unskippable cutscenes, and it already starting off with the very interactive loading zones before I got to actually play the game. But once that rough patch ended, it surprisingly opens up and becomes a real game. So let's get this started and see what I mean. This is Combat Overview. In these series of videos I go over just that, the combat. To be a visual manual and give a more in-depth look into what a game has to offer. Because too many reviews gloss over gameplay, calling it button masher or giving it the blanket statement, it's like DMC. On Square we got a basic attack doing a 3-hit combo. We even got a delay on it too. Just one, but during any point in that combo, just delay your next press and you do an extra reaching hit. No heavy attack, but on triangle we got a forced attack instead. This still does major damage because on neutral press we'll do this overhead swing that'll easily break enemies' guards. And holding triangle will have you quickly close in on an enemy to start your pressure. X will jump, and this lets you do some attacks off ledges, no launchers or anything like that, but pressing triangle in the air will have you do this crowd control slam that'll knock over enemies. But not only that, we also get this double bladed lightsaber later on. Just tap right on the D-pad and you switch to it on the fly. It's good for the crowd control because of its longer range, but it is a lot slower, so it's hard to just focus on one enemy, but that's a trade-off. But it can reflect multiple bullets back, unlike the single lightsaber. You can even get an upgrade later on to hold square mid combo to switch into either the double bladed or the single one quickly, which is pretty cool. Alright, for our defenses, tapping circle will have you do a little sidestep, quick little way to move around an enemy while still being close enough to punish them. That's because that sidestep can be cancelled into a kick to get your combo started. Double tap circle will roll. This will definitely move you either away from a situation or to get closer. And after that roll, you can do this big swing out of it too. There's a solid amount of iframe on both of these two, which is nice. And something else that I noticed, you can actually perfect dodge with that little backstep. So yeah, it'll slow down time, but I noticed it doesn't open them up for too long. At most, you'll get one hit in because their combo will still continue, or they'll just block pretty soon after that one attack. You can block with L1, you can move around slowly and it'll auto block in all directions, but we also have attacks out of it. So L1 and triangle will do the classic lightsaber toss. Good for those far away enemies, but it's also an easy way to do some damage to a crowd. L1 square will split your lightsaber for this powerful combo. I'll usually do this to guard break enemies if they're being overly defensive. And if we have perfect dodges, we gotta have our parries. So if we time our block right, not only will it reflect enemy shots right back at them, but doing this will break the enemy's guard, letting you either instant kill them or open them up to do major damage. During that follow-up attack animation, you're completely invulnerable. But that doesn't mean those enemies are going to just stand there, letting you get away with styling on their boy. Luckily for us, that parry is fast enough to get them back to back. And it works on non-human enemies too, which is sick, so no enemy is safe. Now this is my little preference, but I would have liked if our block and dodge could cancel our attacks, but again, that's just me. But the game is designed around your attacks being committal and deliberate, plus your attacks are fast enough and have little end lag to them. So parries and dodges can definitely be used when you need them, and if you spam, then you'll be punished. So it all definitely works well here, but I just like my cancels. On our HUD, we got our health, of course, but in the middle, we got this thin white bar. That's our guard. Blocking any hits or shots will break it down. It'll refill on its own, no matter if you're attacking or dodging, but blocking will slow its recovery. Letting it fully break will leave you open up to be hit. So that's where the parries and being able to control the fight comes into play. And this blue meter is for our force attacks. If you feel it, just land hits with square, styling with some parries, and getting perfect dodges. So one of them is the force push on R2. Obviously, it can be used to send them away. You can push them over an edge or to just open up space. I did notice an enemy you sent flying won't affect anyone they hit, but there was an upgrade to push a larger group of enemies at once, so it's still a good option for crowd control. Another one is force slow on R1. You can use this to keep an enemy out of the fight for a bit, or to get an easy hit on them. But once you attack them, they'll instantly return to normal speed. And lastly, the force pull on L2. Great to get enemies down from ledges, or just to bring them closer. You can even use to interrupt enemies' attacks too. But if you hold it, you can bring in those grunt enemies really up close and personal for an instant kill. Now as you play, you'll level up and get these skill points to spend. We get 3 trees to pick from. Stuff like increased health, a force meter, get more powerful versions of our force powers, the delay combos, and all that. Even get these little videos too, which is nice so we can see what they actually do. Yeah, it's a pretty solid leveling up system. Now the enemies are pretty good. We got these twin baton soldiers, And getting a parry on them won't open them up for free because they'll quickly attack back, which you can again parry, having this little rally with them. You got ones with rocket launchers who do damage to everyone, so you can use that splash damage to your advantage. But another cool thing is you can actually reflect it with your force push. Got these drones that you can pull in to attack them, but if you reflect their shots, they become this heat-seeking mine and chase you down. But if you wait it out, then push them into a crowd before they explode, you can use that to crowd control. These guardians that'll stomp the ground, so you gotta jump over it. And if you notice specific attacks, you can force pull the core out of them, opening them up for big damage. Now force push and pull doesn't take down everyone because some will straight up dodge it, or use that to close in on you for attack of their own. And this is just some of what we got here. And yeah, how these enemies are designed and how you play around them is so nicely done and well thought out. But yeah, that's Fallen Order. It actually has a mix of platforming, bit of puzzle solving with your force powers. You get to explore these wild, detailed, and expansive maps, using all your new abilities that open them up to find useful upgrades. And it's very solid combat with the always fun parries, and of course the force powers, which enemies, like I said, actually have you use those tools in different ways and get a little creative. And in arena mode. This game's kind of good. It's fun of them actually giving it props for being, well, an actual game, because these blockbuster titles either play it way too safe with yearly templates, or go for the more means better approach even though it's all fluff, or it being a movie over a game. I'm not gonna mention names or start ranting about it, but I'm sure you get the idea. So if you're on the fence like I was about it, now this definitely has some stuff going on in all categories. Now I'm on the hype train for what the sequel has in store, because if this is how we're starting with the first game, well damn, the sequel might be easily one of the best Star Wars games ever.